all right, guys. What's going on? Welcome to the Saturday morning cartoon live stream. Okay, so glad to have you guys here today, and we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to kick this thing off, guys, with a quick warm up here. We're going to get into our faces. So we're gonna do some faces today. We're gonna be talking about proportions and stuff like that of the face. That's what we're gonna do for about the first 60 minutes. Our stream was normally about 2 hours on Saturday because it kind of tries to helps me to make content for the week too because I can always clip from here. And then we also have a challenge in the second 60 minutes. So we're gonna be doing a drawing challenge at this time. Also, we'll have a time reserved, guys, for where you can send in drawings. Okay, and that's going to be in the first hour. So if you guys want to draw along with me, you also will have an opportunity to share with the rest of the community here some of your drawings. I do. Before we get started, I just want to put out there that I do classes. So if you want to take a caricature class and uh, learn how to do caricature, then you can go to rouserworld.com/classes. You can take a class with me, the Rouser, and I'll show you what it's taken me years and years and years to learn about caricature. But I've reduced it into a class that only takes just a few months or whatever, maybe 2 or 3 months for you to get through. And then sometimes I have students that stay beyond that because here I my motto is not to just work on your hand, but to first attack the mind. You get what I'm saying? And so sometimes when you find that you have somebody easy to talk to and you can, and art becomes more than just you learning this thing and then going out making some money. It's like a medicine for you. Then I have some students that kind of, we all are on that same page. And so we just like talking to each other. So it's a great thing. Go ahead and check it out. Also, while we're doing the stream today, if you wish to tip because you learned something from the stream today and you want to be a blessing to your teacher, you can do so at Cash App. And our dollar is $ Rouser World. So you're already on Rouser World if you're on either one of the sites. So if you have a Cash App, you can tip there. Of course, they do give you guys an opportunity to do, I think, little gifts here, if I'm not mistaken, which I forgot. Hold on a second. Dude, I forgot to actually do a. Oh, wow. Okay, no, I didn't. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, so this is our first drawing we're gonna start off with. But before we start drawing, we're gonna do some warm ups. Okay, so warm ups for me generally consist of things like shapes like these. I think they're very fun to draw. So before we get into that, I'm gonna go over here to my gallery, and we're going to see if we can't find some shapes for us to draw. But we're going to illustrate these shapes in 3D, of course. Okay. All right. So let's get out a sheet of paper here. If you have a pen, pencil, whatever, is cool. Just something to draw with, and then we're going to take you through these basic shapes. All right. So today's stream is dealing with proportions, right, and stuff like that. So uh, proportions really are simply this. Let's say I draw this shape right here, okay, and I draw this shape right here. Well, this shape is proportionately bigger than that shape, right? Does that make sense? All right. So when drawing caricature, it's not so much about the shape you're drawing, but it's more about these pro- proportions between the shapes, right? That make them uh, unique. Okay. Now, the cool thing about shapes is that they can be manipulated any kind of way. I can draw this shape like this. Uh, I can make the top of the shape longer and then do like this. I can make this shape wider and make the top shorter, right? I can make it even wider and even shorter. And all of these ideas are like little faces. Okay? Each one is going to give your character a different feel. Okay, so we can draw this like this. We can draw it really tiny like this, right? We can draw it really big and round and kind of like shave the sides off a bit. Again, each one of them are going to be a different face, right? Different feature, different look. And then we have this one here, of course, where we have the different ways that we can illustrate that. Okay? So, with that logic in mind, it stands to we stand to assume then that shapes are very important to learn to draw, but not just shapes, but to learn to draw the shapes in dimension. Okay, which is something that I really ride my students about is learning their dimensional shapes. Excuse me. Okay. So I'm just going to draw a few of these shapes here. We're going to draw them in dimension. And again, we got about 6 minutes here left to do this little warm up. And then we're going to go ahead and get into our stream. So let's start with a triangle, which is a very popular shape for noses, right? So I can make a triangle like a pyramid, right? Okay, you can see this one here. I can also make the triangle where I can see kind of the bottom of the triangle like this. Okay, so that's a dimension right there. So now we can see this side, we can see a three-dimensional. And you want to learn how to make your shapes look three-dimensional. That's what's going to give them your caricature a little bit more look. You know what I mean? So in order to draw three-dimensional in a caricature, you got to understand this. It's not about it, because if you don't understand this, you're not going to know where to put your lines at. You get what I mean? You're just going to be drawing something, but you're going to be unaware of where you're at in space, and your drawings will always be flat. Okay, so this is like a little triangle. We can go here to another shape, which is, let me see here. Let me, uh, let me move this shape around here. I just want to make it bigger here. Okay, so we can try this shape here. Okay, so you can see here I put all kinds of sides on my shapes. It's a good thing to do. If you want to draw, you can draw your shape any kind of way. This is the build, this is the basic shape. Maybe I want to put the shape under the bottom, so maybe I want to make it look like the shape is doing like this. Okay, so I started out with this shape flat. I started out with this shape flat, but then I went to this shape, then I went to this shape. Okay, what other way can I turn this shape? I can turn the shape sideways like this, and it's basically a windshield wiper. Okay, so now you can see here the shape is going this way, so it might look like a building like this, right? But also this is usable in a face shape. Okay, if you learn how to think about it, and we'll be doing this in some faces today. And let's just go ahead and do one more. We got time for one more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we will just draw this like a house, right? Okay. Now, first drawing at 3D is going to be weird because if you don't know how to, if you have never done it before, but basically all it is drawing one shape and then drawing the shape again next to it, right? You get it? And then connecting the corresponding side. So this side goes to this side, right? Right? This side goes to this side. This side goes to that side. Okay? This side goes to the middle inside. And this side, right, is connected to that side. So here you'll see that this is the side of the box. We'll cover it. If we color this panel in, we can see that we have what looks like a three-dimensional house, right? Okay. So that's our warm up, guys, for our shapes and stuff. Let's go ahead now, and we're going to get into the next portion of our stream, and that is going to be our we're going to go ahead and get into our first face, okay? So we got three faces we're going to do. And then after that, we're going to have you give you an opportunity to send your pictures and stuff of that nature, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get started on that, okay? So we're going to go here, and I'm going to go back to my gallery, and I'm going to find some pictures. I took a picture of this page here. Actually, I guess I could go ahead and just use the Pinterest since it's easier to keep maintained. And then what I'll do is I'll do like this. Hold on, let me actually, hold on. Whoop. Almost had me there. Hold on, guys. Forgot to plug my pad in last night. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're gonna do that, and then we need we need this, and then what we're gonna do is take this one and make it bigger. Okay. All right, so here we go, guys. So we're going to be drawing this young lady's face here, and then we're going to be breaking down the shapes as we go through them, okay? To show you how this works, all right? So in general, what I am doing when I do a picture, I'm going to start with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with her jawline, okay? So I need to pick a basic shape that I like. So for hers, I'm going to pick a shape where um, I'm gonna keep this top and the bottom almost kind of an equilateral thing, but I'm gonna concentrate on the width of the face. So what I want is a shape that looks like this, and this is gonna be very, very elementarily drawn because the purpose of this is to learn, not to show off. Okay. So if you look here, what I'm doing is I'm doing a stand-in shape. Okay. Stand-in means that it's not real life. Okay? I don't need to have all of the nuances of the whole curvature of the face, like for instance, how the chin sticks out and all that kind of stuff. I don't need all that to draw a cartoon. I just need the basic shape of the face. I can see that her face has wide cheekbones, so I'm going to put wide cheekbones, and as you can see here again, I kept everything equilateral. In other words, but the top of the head and the bottom of the head are at the same. So this is a proportion, in other words. So remember earlier we started with this shape here. So now I'm using that shape again on the bottom in an equal form, right? So that you understand how to use it. All right. So all right. Let me see here. Hold on a second. I don't know what a flag. What's a flash go? Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do here is from here we're gonna go ahead and start decorating and using shapes. Now, important thing to remember, because this shape is not exactly like this shape, everything is not going to attach to the face like this shape. Okay. For instance, when I get to the ear shape, when I use this shape, I'm going to have to obey whatever my shape is that I've decided to use. So if I want to put ears on this shape based off of this drawing, right, I need to draw little triangle shapes here. Okay, because this is where her earrings are going to go to logically. You see how it flows off of the face, and you really can't see her hair up here. So that tells me that I picked the exact right shape. So now all I have to do is place a neck shape here. So here we're going to put a cylinder shape. Okay, and what is a cylinder? Just this shape here, right? In dimension. Okay, but only thing is, it's kind of like more like a vortex. Okay, so I kind of fan the neck out at the bottom down here and fan it at the top, so it'll be a little bit better. Okay, once we put that vortex in, now we come up to the top and we start thinking about hair shapes. Okay, so a lot of times hair baffles people because they think of hair in the wrong way. But if you look at the way that I look at it is like this. Remember, I must follow my shape. So I cut the hair in sections. So this section over here If you look at the top of the head, forget about all the. I take all the noise out, and I look right here, and I say, okay, well, what shape does that look like? Well, it kind of looks like this shape right here, but kind of offset. In other words, the hair must come up like this, right? Form this shape. It must come around, but then as it gets to the bottom, it begins to kind of take a turn in like this. So what I'm going to do is use texture. So this is the what I'm thinking in my basic shape. But when I start drawing, watch when I draw this, and then I start putting texture to this shape. You get what I'm saying? This is that my flight path is a basic shape, but the texture is different. So it's kind of like me trying to draw this, but instead of drawing it like this, right, I do like this all the way around. This is just another way to draw this. You get what I'm saying? Or I can do it like this, because this is another way to draw this. There's so many ways that I can draw this shape and disguise the fact that I'm drawing a basic shape. And really, in caricature, that's what you're doing. You're trying to virtually disguise the fact that you're using basic shapes. Okay, so now in here, I just put one or two or three curls. Then I move to the next section. So I'll go over here. Okay, so this section over here tells me, well, what does that look like as it's coming off the face? Well, really what it looks like is a kind of a bell. Like, so what I do is I'll draw a little bell. This is my flight path. Let me show you. Okay, you see my flight path? Let me just draw it like this. This is my flight path. Okay, that's my basic shape. But how is my pen gonna move? I'm gonna do little curly shapes like this. Okay, and then I go to the bottom and I look for the same shapes again. Here's one shape again, and then here's my other shape. Here always, now if you pay attention, the hair obeys the flow of the face. Look at the way my shape on the outside flows versus the shape on the inside. Okay, so this is how you proportionately build the head shape. Now we're going to go to the brows and inner features, which are all just basic shapes again. So for this one, I'm going to keep it elementary, and I'm going to use these shapes here, okay, to draw the eyebrows. So these eyebrows are these shapes up here. So you can see here, I use these two shapes here a lot to build heads, okay, right? And then I come here and I'll use my nose shape. Now let's go to the nose shape and go back to some of the 3D shapes that we practiced, okay? So earlier you'll see that I drew this shape here, and then I turned the shape like this to make it look like, well, there was a shadow under the bottom. But what if I took the same concept, right, as a stand-in for her nose, and I went like, and I drew it like more of a triangle. So I did like this. Look at the shape. Okay, see the shape here? But then underneath it, I draw the bottom of it, right? And then if I color the bottom in, okay, you can see how it looks like. It gives you the feeling of that nose. Excuse me. It gives you the feeling of this nose without having to draw it. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So then the next portion is going to be the mouth. So we'll look at the mouth shape here. Generally, what I try to do is look for that curve over the top. So what this is telling me is I want to do something like this. I want to come down and over and up and down and over, right? And then I want to draw basically the shape from up here again, right? Down here in two sections. Okay? So you can see how I put my mouth in, and then our little chin can even go right within the shape. Okay? Just like that. Alright, so you keep your shapes real basic. Now let's go ahead and go to our eye shape. So with the eye shapes, again, you want to use something that's basic. Okay. For what I'm looking at here, I'm seeing eyes that are about. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some little circles that are about yay far apart. Okay. Okay. So all I did was do some ovals. Okay. And inside of those ovals, now what I do, I use the oval to get as a stand-in for those eyes, and then I just turn them into eye shapes because ovals and circles and stuff make better cartoon eyes to me. So I'll just do this, right? And I'm not drawing with my marker today, so I can't get that thick and thinness that I normally get with my markers, but I'm just, okay? And then we come here, and we want to put square shapes in here, like cup shapes inside, right? So that we can color them in just a little bit, right? With your eyes. And then we'll just do a separator in between and color in our eyebrows. So really, drawing faces is all about, again, the proportion between these things. Making decisions as you go through your drawing to be able to form convincing faces. Okay? All right, so that is face number one. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and go to our next face. Again, guys, remember, if you want to take a class with me, you can take a class, browserworld.com/classes. Also, guys, if you wish to tip, you can tip today at Cash App, $Browserworld. If you feel like you're benefiting from the stream, you're getting blessed by your teacher, hey, thank you so much, guys, in advance for showing a little love to your art teacher today. Okay, let's go to our next face. Okay, and we're going to kind of do the same thing as that. And if you guys are drawing along, again, I'm going to give you an opportunity here in about 10 minutes for you to be able to draw your to send your submissions in. Okay. All right. So let's just pick another young lady from here. Okay. We'll pick this one here. She looks like a pretty cool face to draw. All right, and actually she has very similar features to this, except that she has a much wider jawline. So what I want to do is when I use this shape here, I'm not going to taper it as much. You get what I mean? I want to think of this shape more like a, like a. I want this face to be longer. Is what I'm saying. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come back and I'm going to do my shape. So let's look at this shape here. This is the shape I want right here, okay, cut in half. So I want this much of the shape here to be her forehead. I want this much of the shape to be her jawline, okay? Understand? And then this is going to be her neck or her cylinder shape, right? And then that's going to go into usually some sort of triangle like this, okay? All right. Now we go to our ear shape, so we can see here. You really can't see the ears that much, but we know her cheekbones are here, right? Her ear, the actual earrings are way down here. I might have made this a little bit long for her face. I don't know. Let me see. Now that I think about it, I might want to go back and look at the width of her face instead of the length. Let me try that one again. Let me get some more paper here. Hold on. Okay, let's go with it. Let me see here. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. Okay, we're gonna go with um, width. So I'm gonna go something like this. I'm gonna make this shape a little wider. Her face is just way too long for me. I want the cheekbones to really pop out on this, and then I want to taper in to the bottom of the face here. Now, what I do is I'm gonna with this shape. What I'm gonna do is have her. I'm gonna have her jawline here. Okay, so this is gonna be like the largest part of mine, and then at the bottom, what I'm gonna do is put the same shape again, right? But I'm gonna put like a little shape of it. Okay, so if you look at it, I just drew the same shape kind of three times in three different ways, if that makes sense to you. And then I came here into my next shape and then ultimately into whatever triangle, which would give me space. Now, I usually go ahead and put earrings and stuff here. This gives me a sense of kind of where her ears are going to be situated at, and then this is going to be her forehead shape up here. So, what I want to do here is I'm going to start drawing in my forehead here, okay, to kind of make it look like the picture here, okay? And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to make shapes. So, watch my shapes. One, two triangles, right? And then I'm going to go here and come out because I want to be traveling north to south because you can see it goes really north to south here. And then it comes around, and this is the first little layer. And then we come over here and we'll do the same thing. This is kind of a rounded out thing here, just kind of hanging off of this first shape up here. So I'm looking at this line right here and I'm drawing this shape in relation to this line and this shape right in relation to this line. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be thinking of the hair in parts. Um, then we go to the next shape, which is going to be a shape that kind of bends into the hair. It doesn't go outward, right? So you wanna go in with this so that you can maintain the likeness from the picture. So I'm just going to do something like this, and as I get down here, I'm just going to get progressively smaller until I wind up inside of the hair shape. I'm not worried about it being exactly right, just getting the simple nuances of it, okay, to draw the head, okay? Now, once we get here, then what we do is we start plugging in shapes. So we look at our nose shape. That might be a good place to start since she has glasses. Again, I'm going to use the same exact nose that I had for my last picture, which is going to be a weight kind of with the bottom of it drawn at an angle so that the bottom looks shadowed in. And then this will be the nose. So here I can see that this, right, is where the glasses would go on the picture. Whatever. Okay? And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a shape where I'm going to draw the top of this shape here. Okay? And then I'm going to draw the bottom shape here, but make this more round. So this would be like her lip shape, right? Okay, so you see how those two shapes just fit together? And then this would be the chin. So see here, we came down to this line, but normally in real life, you're not gonna make everything so edgy, but I'm trying to show you something, so you can't do it. All right, so once we get here, then we'll put our eyes in. So we could do, I don't know, for these eyes here, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll do this here. I'm gonna do the eyebrows up here, right? Up here, right? Doesn't matter, right? And then you got your eyes themselves here. So what I would do is I might do a shape like this, okay? You see how these shapes look kind of bent like this, and then they have the squares in there. Well, when you do you see how that looks really bent, but it looks very convincing as far as what her eye shape is. Even though I didn't draw her eye shape exactly like it is in the picture, I like to use a lot of overly stuff to get the basic idea and trajectory of the face. You get what I'm saying? So you can see here how we got a really good likeness of her with very minimal lines and just by using basic shapes, okay? If you look at this mouth is not a hard mouth to draw because remember everything is predicated upon this shape. So all I did for this shape on the top lip was draw this line skinny. And then I drew this line in this regular proportion as if it was a filled in shape. You see, so now if I wanted to make her bottom lip bigger, I can. But because I have such command of what shape I'm drawing at that time and how it looks in dimension, I understand what I want to draw no matter what. Okay, what I'm saying? Which I'm gonna go. That was pretty cool. So here I did just a note mention. I did the eyes like this, and then here to get this look like this uh, uh, this elegant. I just want to put the word dreamy, maybe. It seems that those eyes give me a dreamy look right there when I do them like this. So if you got two people looking at each other, you might be like, but maybe one of them has smaller eyes than the other. So over here, you might be like, because you could use the same shape for both people. And then you got the eyes going that way, and then you got the eyes going this way, and then you got your eyebrows, right? And then you got your eyebrows, right? Right? And then you have your nose shape, right? And your little nose shape here. You see? And then you come back with your mouth shape, right? Well, what is the mouth shape here? This is going to be like a half of this shape. Half, right? You see? Half, right? If they got a whole one, you can do a whole one, right? You can do big teeth with the whole one because now all we're doing is putting. You know what I'm saying? So, you get what I mean? This might be this face over here, and this might be that face over there. And then they might have hair like this, right? And then they might have I don't know, maybe he has a big brow line, right? And a flat back of the head, and then this little part back here, right? You get what I'm saying? So either way, you have to reduce this down to the really basic rudimentary shapes because that's going to make all of this so much easier. Hey, thank you so much. What's going on? I just got oh, thank you, Indian Watts. What's going on, man? Thank you, man, for giving me those donuts. I really needed some breakfast this morning, right? Thank you, man. I certainly appreciate you. I just saw that you was here, so welcome, Indian Watts. Indian Watts, man. How's the caricature life been treating you? Okay, so now, guys, we're going to go ahead now, and we're going to go to the next portion of our stream. So we've done two faces. We did a warm up. So now we're going to go to. We have actually one more face, and then we have then we're going to do our send in. So matter of fact, you guys can be preparing that now. If you want to send in a picture to me, so we can talk about like what you could do different or better or whatever. You can, or if you just want to showcase your work, just go ahead and send it into our Rouser World email. Not our email, our Rouser World on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll go ahead and pull your work up right here. We'll talk about it. Okay. With all this, we've done a lot of female faces. Let's go ahead and try to find some guys here. So what I'm going to do is go back to here, and we're going to go to, let me see, what does it say? It says Pixie Cuts. Yeah, let me see. Uh, these are all, so this is all the women ones, okay. Well, I guess since we're here, this one seems pretty cool. Let me see. This one here. Okay. So let's see what we can do, just making a small cartoon out of her right here. Okay, and you guys again can follow along. Now her face to me has a very coffiny feel. So I would want to draw something that's wide, that has a lot of weight at the bottom and not so much weight at the top, because all of her, the weight of her face falls like right around the bottom. It falls around the bottom of her face. So I would draw this, and then I'd draw my little vortex, right? Okay, leading into my triangle. Now, again, where's everything at? So I might come here and put my earrings. Again, thinking of those earrings as a 3D shape, right? Then I separate the hair into three parts. Over here, I can see that I have a giant big triangle. So no matter how crazy everything looks, what I do is I'll draw a hair in the form of a triangle. Can you see the triangle inside? The triangle idea I use to make this shape. Okay, think of these as clouds. So cloud number one is triangle shape. And then you got another cloud over here that's also triangle shaped in relation to the head. So remember, this is the base of that triangle. Okay? Here. Okay, so we want to go out. We want this to be out here. We want to come down and then back into the hair. And then down here, we have another shape, which is also a triangle in relation to the head. Okay? Here we have one that's really more like a semicircle. Okay? In relation to the head. So you can see how I just did the hair in four big masses. Okay? And then I come back with my, so I got my eyebrows, right? Eyebrows. Okay? Just like that. And then we come back and we add the eyes. So for the eyes here, I can use a lot of different shapes. Now her eyes are very, I could use round because they're small, so I could do like this, right? Watch, I could do like this. And look how small and round they are. Because what I'm doing is using the circle as a stand-in to say her eyes overall are basically this big, and then I use a circle. And then I change the angles, I change the way the circle looks by adding an eyelash to it like this to get the angle. You see how I did that? Okay? And then I put my eyes in there like this. See how she has, so I maintain the smallness of the eye by doing it this way. And then I come with her nose. So her nose is very, her nose is a she has a round shaped nose, okay? So what I would do with this, she has a round triangle. So what I would do is I would do a soft triangle, right? And just kind of shadow the bottom in, just like this, and then I'd leave it. I don't really need a lot of details here. I don't want to draw too much attention to this. I want you to have, the reason I didn't draw all the details there is because in the end of the day, I really don't want you to look there. So I don't put a bunch of details because I don't want you to be drawn to that. I just want you to see that this is going to be, this is what her nose would look like in cartoon world, but not necessarily give you all the details of it. Now, her lips are basically just two semicircles. Okay, so look how big this is. You got a semicircle here and a semicircle here. Okay, so the lips were semicircle. The eyes were circles, right? You know what I'm saying? This was a triangle, right? And then what I'm doing is putting them in proportion to one another. That makes sense to you. Okay, so we could add some more lashes here. And this is how we make our pictures more funny and more, more engaging for us. You get what I'm saying? We do it like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our next drawing here. Okay, where we at right now? Let's see. So we did three drawings. Okay, so guys, right now we're going to take just about 10 minutes to stretch because we've been drawing a little bit. And we're going to give you a few minutes to go ahead and send your artwork in. If you've drawn any of these pictures along with me and you'd like for me to take a look at them, I'd love for you to send your work in to me. So just go ahead and send that over to our Instagram. So you can just go to Rouser World on Instagram or Facebook and send it to us, and I'll go ahead and pull those up. So we're going to start now. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys, if I would assume it shouldn't take more than 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm going to give you guys about 2 or 3 minutes to go ahead and send those in, and then we'll go from there. Okay. All right. And while we're waiting on that, I'll go ahead and start another drawing. Just kind of go through another phase here. Okay. I'm on these hairstyles right now, so it is what it is, right? All right, let me see here. All right, let's go with maybe we can look for. I'm looking for somebody with different features. All these features start to run in the same way. She looks like she has different features in her face. face here. All right. So let's see. How would I draw her face? You know what I would do? I'm gonna start this one from the inside out. I'm gonna draw some. You know what? You know what I'm gonna draw? I'm gonna draw some huge. I'm gonna draw some huge footballs. Okay. I don't know. Can I get away with what if I do it that way? I'm trying to think. Should I just do this here? Because I think that yeah, and then I just do like this. All right. So I gave her the sleepy look, and then these are her eyebrows. I don't want to take. I don't want her eyebrows to be too big, and then I want the nose. Her nose is a kind of a. Her nose is a triangle. It's actually more not even a triangle. It's really the middle of her nose is so dominant that I'm willing to even forego the triangle and draw it like a teardrop, kind of like this, and then make some shadow on one side of the teardrop like that. I don't, and then I just need this because the middle. I'm not going to even draw all the details. I don't need them. Okay. And then let me see here. What I'm gonna do with the top of my mouth here. I'm gonna think of a. Let me see. Same shape that I drew before. So I'm just gonna do something like this. I'm gonna make it small though, like a smile. And then I just put this shape here. Cause to me, I'm bending a shape, right? So this might be what her lips look like that, right? Okay, and then she has a little bitty chin like this. Okay. All right. Yeah. We come back and then we start putting in our features. So we're going to use a small forehead shape. So we're going to go with something that's not a lot of face. Okay. So we want to just do something that's extremely round. That's going to go right into her bottom of that chin shape. Okay. All right. Now, once we are here, we'll go to the top of our head. And this is the shape here in my mind about her hair shape, her forehead. So what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna go ahead and just stick this little curl in there. Okay. Okay. And then we just got little curls. Okay. Uh, these little curls here we can do like this, this, and this, and then we just connect them to each other. You got to learn how to draw you some curls, man. All right, now let's go ahead and get our shape. So we got a. I see up top here. I have a split in the middle, so I have a triangle coming all the way. I'm not going to even be able to get this in because she has very big hair. But this is like the base of the triangle coming back into her head. You know what I'm saying? So we have a triangle kind of going like this and like that, right? So this would be like the base of the triangle in my head, and then this is like the top coming out here, inevitable, uh, infinitively, right? Yeah. Okay. And then I just come over here and I'll do the same thing. So this one is a little bit down more, like this, and then the base of it is out here somewhere, and then it just comes back into her head. Okay. And then you just add dimension to this shape. So you just come out here and you make some curls here. You make a little curl here. This will give you a space between the head and the head shape, and then you just add your little cylinder again, going down into whatever her shoulder shape would be. In this case, it might be like this, right? Okay. All right, and then you just put some little circles in here. Now we can color this little piece in here. So this is how you want to approach this picture. So it has now. This is the sleepy eyes, right? So I noticed here that I use. I'm just gonna put some notes here. Um, I put a here. I was thinking of a bent shape, a bent shape. Okay, something about that came out in my head. This is how I study. This is two football, the footballs in half, right? And this will give me a kind of like a like bulby eye look, like kind of big bulby eyes, right? So that's a way to get to that. So if I run into that situation again, I know a way to get to the final outcome. That's the reason why I make these little notes like this. This is how I come up with all these cool ideas, right? Okay. And let me see what else did we do. All right. Remember we had our hair was triangles. Okay. So we had two triangles. So it was time two. Right. And pretty much that's how you draw that picture. Okay. So let's take a look and see if we had anybody. Nobody sent in anything. I don't think. Let me see. Let me make sure. Okay. Okay. So I haven't gotten any entries for work submitted, so I'm going to keep moving on. Okay. And so now we're going to go into the caricature challenge, right? So for the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to draw a picture without picking my pencil up off the paper. So that's something I always want to try. So I'm just going to do that just to keep it kind of light, right? Let's see if I can do it. I'm going to try it with this picture here because I don't think it's possible. But let's go ahead and do it. Okay, are you ready? So here we go. Uh, I'm gonna do like this. Okay. Well, okay, coming back in. I'm traveling. I'm traveling back. Dude, you would think I would have stayed. I would have did all this while I was over here. Okay. Let's take the other route. How the heck am I going to get to that? Ah, I got an idea. I'm almost there. Okay, and I'm going back in here, and then back over here to color this in. Back over here. Okay. I did it. This is my attempt to draw a picture without ever taking my hand off the paper. I think that one came out pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I think it came out pretty cool. Hey, what's going on, Luna? How are you? Yes, a single line portrait. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, so that proved to be challenging because what I had to do to jump into the face was I had to think about having some, like, kind of use the idea that she has hair in her face to get to different parts of the face. So this one really came out pretty cool for me. So that was my drawing challenge of the day, right? Hope you guys enjoyed, right? Okay. Um, Don't forget, guys, if you wish to take a class with me, classes are available. So you can take classes at rouserworld.com/classes. Looking forward to meeting you today, doing a class with you, and sharing with you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years to be able to draw caricatures at a higher level. So sign up with us today, and I'll take care of you. All right. Also, guys, if you are able, this is my full time employment here. Tips are appreciated. So if you are learning from the stream today and you wish to be a blessing to your art teacher today, you can tip at Cash App. $ Rouser World is going to go to a good cause, I assure you. It's called the Feeding the Three Kids Fund, right? So thank you so much. I appreciate you in advance. Okay, so let's take that out the way. And looks like we're winding down at the first hour of our stream, guys. So, what do you guys think so far? Has it been fun so far for you? I hope that it has. I hope that it has. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you, Eva. Eva, thank you. Eva sent a hot pepper too. I got a hot pepper. Awesome. I'm glad that you are having fun today. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go into the next portion of our drawing of our stream. And this one's going to be cool because what we're going to do is we're going to play kind of an association game. I love to play this game, and it's basically me taking shapes and making them into things, right? So if we go back here, I'm going to find some shapes here in my gallery. Okay. These are some drawings that I did way back. We just took pictures of them a long time ago. All right, let me see if I can find. Okay, here we go. So we got some shapes here. Okay, and we're going to put those shapes where we can make them bigger or smaller as we want. Okay. Also, guys, on TikTok, if you guys have not become a subscriber or a member for our channel, um, we are looking for to expand our family so that we can have more people to kick it with, make the stream a little bit more filled up, right? But I'm always happy with those that do decide to come, even if it is a small crowd. They say when two or more are gathered, right? You know what I'm saying? He is in the midst, so that's a good thing. We're learning together. So again, Eva, thank you. I appreciate you, and anybody else that's on TikTok here. I haven't had an opportunity because you're just kind of sitting back watching. Um, I understand, but get in the chat, man. All right. Let me see. Hey, good to see you again. Ah, hey, right on, right on. Awesome, awesome. All right, so Now, this next portion is going to be real fun because, as you can see here, it's about, we're going to use this to kind of help us build faces, right? All right, so what I'll do here is I'll just put a couple of shapes, right? Maybe a circle, and you guys can draw along with me. Maybe a triangle. Then we'll have a square here. Let's put a pentagon here. Okay. What else we got? We got a rhombus, right? And each one of these shapes, they're gonna do something a little different, right? Okay. So basically, you ever heard the word notorious, right? Excuse me. Some people are notorious for certain things, right? So that works with shapes too, right? This is a pillow. This is an egg. Okay. We even have a book here, a book head. Right. So that's a book. So we got a book. We got an egg. Right. We have a pillow. We have a moon. Right. A heart. A diamond. I'm just going to abbreviate this. What is that called? A parallelogram? Parallelogram or a pushed over square, whichever way you want to look at it, right? And then we have a trapezium, my favorite shape. And then we have a rectangle, well, second favorite shape. My first favorite is a hexagon. So that would be like this shape, like the hex head screw. We have a hexagon, right? Yeah. So hold on. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm trying to. Okay, so we have our hexagon, and then we have an octagon. Okay. So certain shapes are notorious for certain things, right? Like these shapes, this shape here, for instance, the trapezium shape, okay, is notorious for mouth shapes. Okay. Actually, that is also a half of a hexagon. So these shapes here are connected to each other. They're cousins, right? This is a half of a cousin. So this you have your hexagon, and then you have a half of a hexagon, which is his cousin. So if they were all hanging out together, it looked like this is this is him, and then this is him, right? And they are little cousins, right? Okay, so we're just gonna draw this so you'll see what kind of cousins they are, right? Okay, so we we got the hex, we got we got we got big hex and little hex, lil lil hex. Okay, so big hex and little hex, right? Yes, that's right, Luna. They are what they are notorious for. Okay, so if you think of what things are notorious for, then you can use notorious you can use these this type of terminology to help you to navigate your way through this caricature minefield that you find yourself in sometimes. All right, so for instance, the little hex is notorious for hex is notorious for, right? Big hex, right? This is Big Hex's head, right? Well, if you do like this to Big Hex, he can make lips, right? What else can you do to Big Hex? You can take Big Hex and you can bend the top of Big Hex and bend the top bottom of Big Hex, and then you can make some curvy lips, right? You can take Big Hex, you can draw them like this. You can do your smile, and then you can say, I'm gonna put some teeth in there and put lips on big hex, or double it up. Draw another hex on the outside, and then you'll see here that this looks like hex has teeth. Excuse me, guys. I'm trying to get this thing to go, so give me a sec, guys. I'm trying to make sure I stay on time. 55. Okay, go. All right. So you can see how you can use big hex in a lot of different ways. Now, little hex, right? Little hex. It's 12:40 a.m. Even with sleepy eyes, I'm staying up to enjoy this video. Hey, awesome, in Korea. I actually have, I know you're in Korea. Speaking of which, I have quite a few. I have some students of the Asian descent that take my class, and that's pretty awesome. In fact, one of them in particular, I remember, his name's Hendrick. Hendrick's pretty cool, and he's from California. I think he's an engineer or something like that. It's weird. Some of the people that come from the different walks of life to take classes with me, I get to meet and stuff. But man, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate you. Okay, so little hex. Okay, what's little hex? Little hex is this guy shaped like this. Okay, so little hex, right, is can be done a lot of different ways. This is little hex, right, with his little smile. So I can draw a line. If I want to make the mouth smaller, I can go with a smaller mouth and kind of use it in the same way, right? I can turn little hex on upside down, right? And then I can also put teeth in it with a smile, right? And put lips on it or whatever, right? What else can I do? I can take little hex and I can bend him like this, okay? So that his mouth looks like it's smiling a lot, right? So I can make him into like a bent shape, right? So you see what I'm saying? So I took the widest parts here, wide, wide, wide. You see? So now it looks like he has like this huge, so it helps you to really, really, really elevate your smile a lot more. So with little hex, okay? So that's just one association. That's for little hex. Remember to use little hex, right? All right, let's go to another shape. See what else we can do. So we did traps. We did hex. So these are related to one another. Okay. Let's see here. Now, these shapes here. Wow. Now, you can draw any person using any person's eyes, which is usually what gives you guys caricature artists the blues, or people in general, artists. They're intimidated by eyes and they're intimidated by hands for some reason. And I get it, because I used to be the same way. I was intimidated by eyes. That's why it took so much time to work on them and get them up to speed. So we're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that here today. Hold on one sec, guys. How much battery did I get? 16. I'm gonna have to get better at this. I don't. I haven't been charging my phone at night, so I gotta make sure my pads and stuff are charged. All right, so let me see here. So we're gonna talk about what shapes are notorious for eyes. So we're gonna do notorious shapes for your eyes. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and do this here. Let's discard that. Let's go to pictures of people that I've drawn. Okay. So let's look at her face real quick. We're just gonna work with the eyes. Okay. So if I want to draw her eyes, I can use any shape. Okay. I'm just gonna do a thing like this, and then up here I'll draw some shapes for you. Okay, let's make sure that's Excuse me. All right. So I can use circles. Watch. That are slanted down like this, right? Look. And then I can use, watch. I can use triangles that are slanted down like this, right? I can use squares that are down like this. I can use a hexagon or pentagons that are slanted like this. I can use diamonds that are slanted like this, right? I can use rectangle. I already did rectangles. I can use eggs that are slanted. I can use any of these shapes, okay? Now, watch what we're going to do. We're going to go through each one of them, okay? Because we've just used different shapes to show you this is not a trick, okay? And then, the Negro's face. Hey, yes, how you remember. Now watch. Eyes here, eyes here. 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 Okay? And then we can go eyelashes, 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 eyelashes. Okay? Nose, nose, just to show you. Nose, 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 nose. Okay? With some freckles, 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 freckles. Okay? Okay? So, okay? I'm just showing you how it was kind of being done in the picture. I just want to make so I want you to see that all of this is just buffoonery. It's all buffoonery, man. It looks like people make things harder than what they really are. Hey, okay, now look. Um, how is it possible, right? How is it possible for us to draw all of these shapes and still arrive at the same point? Hmm. That is the question. That is the question. And when I discovered that this works, I didn't ask no questions. I said this is going to like make life very easy for me. I don't. That's why I don't have to look when I make work. I don't have to look at a person for a long time. All I do is pick out. Like I know any shape that I use, I can bend it to my will. You get what I'm saying? So that is when you really go to a whole another level with this. As you stop looking and you start seeing. Looking is standing on the sideline, kind of seeing what's going on from over here, but not really having an understanding of everything. And then seeing is when you see and you go, aha, right? That happened to me yesterday with my piano, which I'm going to be doing some videos on my piano channel too. If you guys haven't seen my piano channel, you might want to check it out. It's called Learn Together Piano Tutorials. So I started that one. And I use art as a basis to teach the piano. So I think that I got inspired because I heard a student I saw a comment some comments on the videos, and it was saying that all those videos look the same. And they all claim that they can teach you how to play the piano better, but all of them they start to all run into each other, right? So I started doing. I thought I would do something different, and use drawings to help you to see the keyboard better. So if you want to check that out, you should. I would appreciate it. Okay, so let's go to another one. How much time we got left? Okay, so we want to get down to about. Let me see. We got a few more minutes here, look, guys. Let's go here to this guy. Okay, what shapes can work for him? Well, let me see. Let's go. As long as we're gonna get his eyebrows correct first. We need to figure out first thing is what the eyebrows are doing, because that is more important than the eyes. Actually, a lot of times. Yes, the shapes make it, and then you put details. To that's think about how you logically put makeup on, right? You don't change the shape of your eye and then put makeup on, right? Your eye shape is fixed, and then you put makeup on to change the shape, the way the eye appears to somebody else. That's why you can see the ladies wear the makeup around their eyes as a certain way, because it makes sad eyes Chinese eyes. You get what I'm saying? So you can change angles with makeup with heavier lines, but don't try to change the form of the shape. So let's just say these are all his eyebrows. Okay, all of them represent him, his eyebrows. So what can I do here? All I'm doing is looking at how his eyes are related to one another. I don't care what shape I use, just how are they related to one another? Like, are they big, and how big are they, and how far apart are they from each other? So I might say, okay, this is my circle, and this is how big they are, and this is where he's looking at. You get it? And then look, if I want to put a point here, I can do something like this or something like this. All right? I don't need all these details, and then I just come back and put my glasses. You see? Right? Now, what if that's the circle, but what if I use this shape here? Same shape, has a different feel to it, but still the same guy. That's this shape here. So I just transferred this shape down. Now I'm gonna go here. This looks like two little rectangles, right? What if I just do okay? Okay? See? This is two pentagons. Okay? Okay? And then last but not least, what we'll just use we can use any shape. Let's use this shape here. This is what is it, a diamond? No problem. So I just look at the diamond, and I'm looking at how big the diamond is and how far apart they are. That's what makes you look like you. Okay? And just remember, the only thing I would remember is this: rounder shapes give you a friendlier look. If your shape is round, you're going to get a friendlier. Rounder shapes give friendlier faces. Okay? So look at this. Wow. We drew one. We drew this guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Used 5 different shapes for 5 different sets of eyes, and they all look like him because we only paying attention to, again, distance, size, relationship. Okay, that just goes. What I'm trying to tell you is a science. It's a life science. Okay, and which we'll get into. Right, it's a life science that we are not that different from each other. There's really nothing different about person to person. The things that we judge each over, the things that we critical of each other about, and just things that we waste time thinking about, just so we don't like somebody is it's really kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So let me see here. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do, guys. Okay, hold on. Oh boy. All right. I need to charge this boy. Let me see. Oh, I can't do it. Okay. I can't wait till this thing go. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start getting things ready for our word of the day. Okay. Um, be I don't want to keep you guys here too long today. So, but anyway, as I was saying, this is a really kind of a life science. It's us understanding we're not different, and that a lot of the times it's really just about the relationship we choose to establish with the other person. It's because we have no established relationship that what we look like um, becomes the bigger um, focal point for us. But here again, the moving parts are very similar. We can put stand-ins in for just about anything. Okay. All right. So we've done quite a bit of lessons today. Let's go ahead, guys, and put this again. If you guys wish to take a class with me, I am a full-time art teacher, so I teach art online like a class. If you want to take a class with me, please feel free to reach out to me at rouserworld.com/classes, and we'll go ahead and get you guys situated. Okay. Also, if you wish to tip today because you felt like you benefited from what I shared with you today and you want to be a blessing to your art teacher, thank you so much. You can tip at Cash App, $Browser World. Again, it would help us out greatly. This is my full time um, job, so I'm just an artist living out his dream, right? All right, so let's go ahead, guys, and we're going to start making a little bit of a transition over here over to our word of the day. So, real quick, guys, I'm going to go ahead and just put this stuff to the side, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and get my little booklet out here. We're going to share a quick word from our devotional. I won't make this long for you, but I do want you to leave encouraged. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because we really don't need it anymore. Actually, yes, I do because I want to make sure that this thing don't turn off. So let me keep it on here. Let me turn this music off real quick. Okay. And okay. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to get into our word of the day. Okay. So if you give me just a second here, I'm trying to find my page. It was okay, hold up. All right. All right. Hold on one sec. All right. All right. So today, this is going to be our word of the day. It's going to be very simple. I'm going to be coming out of my devotional called Jesus is Calling. It's by Sarah Young. I bought this book in about maybe 3 to 4 years ago. I read it. I was inside of I want want to say, what's the name of that store? Not the Salvation Army, but the other one. You know the one. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, it was like a thrift store, and so they had like a book section there, and then I saw this book, and I was like, I want to check that out. So I got this book, and so we're gonna go over to the book of Psalms. All right, and we're gonna go to Psalms 5, verse 3. Okay, so let's go back here. And then we're going to share a scripture with you real quick and a devotional, and then we'll get you guys out of here, okay? All right. Let me see. So our word of the day is I am the great artist. I am the great artist. So it's saying that God is the original artist. He's not only a great artist, he is the original artist. Everything that we're inspired to draw or to do, he said he put an eternity of all inside of all of us. He put that in all of us. All of us have worship already in us. We already understand this, and we might not think about it. Um, I think the word is directly. We might not be cognizant or aware of why we do certain things, but it's because of an internal program that we have. The reason that we want to create is because we were created by a creator. So we have his DNA. Therefore, we like to create. Okay? So I am the great artist. In the book of Psalms, chapter 5, verse 3, it says, Lord, every morning you hear my voice. Every morning I tell you what I need, and I wait for your answer. Okay? Um, this is for me, being a Christian is all about that. Being an artist is all about that. I try to connect art um, and and life together. So if we're looking at art as its thing, okay, when I wake up, when I'm practicing, okay, um, I kind of look at it like this. There are rules to everything, right? And these rules are simply like like a message. It's a way to it's a it's a way things work. It's a message. It's an idea. It's a concept. It's a way that we need to do things, right? Okay, so that's being broadcast out to us through God's word. In art, it might be basic shapes. So you might have you might think that you know better than the shape. So you are the type of artist that says, I don't need shapes. And then here you are trying to draw a shape, but you can't figure out what it is. Your drawing's coming out of it because you think that this is too simple for you to do it like this. And so you think I can create or recreate the wheel. But here is telling us to hear his voice or to trust in this. And then every morning I tell you what I need. So and then I wait for your answer. Okay, so what does that mean? When it comes to art, when we start to believe what God has for us and who God says that we are, and that we can believe that God can do what He says He can do, a lot of the times us becoming better at something is just a matter of us getting past ourselves and stop doubting ourselves. You see, God's always telling you that you're the head and not the tail. You're the lender, not the borrower. The last will be first. He's always telling us that you're always encouraging us through His Word. It's always an encouragement with God. So it's really up to us for us to I think rely on that or believe what's being said to us. I can tell my students in my drawing class, you're good, you're great at this, and you're doing a wonderful job and all that. But none of that means anything for me unless they believe that they are doing a great and wonderful job. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Then it says, so it says here, let's go ahead, and then it says, I will wait for your answer. And so what that means is that we're not to be in a rush for things. A lot of times when we draw, we might want to see the end result of the drawing before we even start the drawing. Okay, so we shouldn't do that. We should be patient as we're building and putting our shapes together to build whatever it is we're building, so that we can and know that we're going to see the result if we follow those basic rules. Okay, so the devotional says, "Let me show you my way for you today." So when we wake up, it's important that we spend time with God so that we can know what to draw, because our day is pretty much a blank canvas for God to work on. So there's nothing here. You haven't done anything good. You haven't done anything bad, but you've been blessed with it with a day, and that day that God blessed you with, that day is always tied to a purpose. And so when you wake up, you got to find, just like you can go to work and say, you know what, this is what I need to do at my office today. Well, you can also say, you know what, this is what I need to do in my day today. This is what I need to accomplish. Now, the thing is that you want to keep your, a lot of people don't know about planning, but as I got older, I learned that sometimes enough is enough. Sometimes we can be doing something and we overdo it. We overwork ourselves. I had an opportunity to talk to a gentleman the other day, and I got a time to pray with him, and he looked very tired and not like out of it, but he was with his family, and I just stopped to tell him, you know what I mean? He was telling me how much time he spends away from his family. He has to travel a lot. He's always in the sun. He's working. He's doing this, and then he's kind of just beat down, and then I seen him, he's drinking the beer, so he's kind of over. So I was just like, okay, so that was a lot of the times when we get bogged down and stressed down with all the things of life, then we turn to things like alcohol and drugs and sex and all this kind of stuff to try to fulfill us, when those are really not what's going on. What's going on is that you have too much purposed, right, in the wrong way within that day. And so, whether that be, I want some people to like me, I want these people to accept me, I want to be a better performer, whatever that is, that can become our ultimate goal. And then we start overriding the rules, right, that God set, because there's an engagement that we have to do every day. When we follow God's word, what we do is we open up ourselves to receive blessings throughout the day. If you treat people the way you want them to treat you, and you do this, and God has already set up a meeting between you and an angel that day. But because you ain't on your game and you're not following the rules, you said the wrong thing, you did the wrong thing, you acted out the wrong way. You understand what I'm saying? You used you didn't establish a relationship, which is what we talked about today in our stream, is establishing those relationships. Excuse me one sec, guys. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So then it says here, give your entire day to me, and then wait to see what I will create with it. I am the great artist, and your day is my empty canvas. Watch me do my work. I will paint my colors into your life. Colors of my love, mercy, peace, hope, and joy. And you will not be disappointed. It says, trust me to take your ordinary day and create a masterpiece. I am the great artist. Okay? So, guys, I'm not going to make the word of the day long today. I actually have to get out of here. So, because first of all, my device is acting up right now, and I don't want you guys to get cut off. And second of all, I'm going to be going out here and going to work here in a bit. So, all right, so guys, again, thank you for coming out. If you want to take classes with me, you can learn to draw at rouserworld.com/classes. Go ahead and sign up with a class. Uh, you're welcome, Eva. Thank you. Okay. And then it says here, if you want to tip, guys, you can tip at Cash App $Rouser World. And don't forget, guys, to subscribe. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed on TikTok or YouTube. Hey, man, don't forget to go to that subscription page and support your art teacher. So you guys have a blessed and awesome day. Thank you so much for coming out. Luna B, thank you for coming out. All right. And you guys have a blessed and awesome day. I'll see you guys next time. All right, guys, I'm out of here.